So the best thing you can do as a defender is not give it to him.
Clark. Back-to-back triples for Caitlin Clark.
There are certain flashes in sports that feel almost unreal. Not a highlight dunk, not a last-second shot, but a split second where everything slows down and you realize you're witnessing something different, something elevated, the kind of brilliance that separates one player from the rest. Caitlin Clark delivers that feeling the instant the ball finds her hands. The arena tightens, defenders hesitate, and then without warning, she rises from a distance most players wouldn't even consider, launching shots that feel impossible, yet somehow inevitable.
Clark has space, she's gonna let it fly, and she's gonna connect! Oh!
Firing passes through windows that barely exist, creating space with a single step back, leaving defenders frozen. Confident 1 second, humbled the next. Every possession becomes a statement, every shot a reminder. The WNBA didn't brace for this kind of arrival. And Caitlin Clark didn't wait for approval, didn't stand in line, didn't ease her way in. She stepped onto the stage, took control, and forced the league to adjust to her rhythm. This isn't just about fitting in, it's about shifting the standard. Caitlin Clark isn't here to hang around, she's here to redefine what's possible. And this is only chapter 1. Quick scenario. Clark controls the ball at the top of the arc. The defense tightens, 2 defenders inch closer, help defense lurking in the paint. What happens next? A. She launches from well beyond the 3-point line. B. She slices into the lane herself. C. She whips a no-look dime to a teammate cutting wide open. Got your answer locked in? Don't be too sure, because with her, the obvious choice usually isn't the right one. Now let's break down the weapon that's warping defenses everywhere, and the 3-point shot.
Clark will loft it up there and swish it in with a 3.
A long three by Clark!
Clip. When Caitlin Clark lets a 3 fly, it's more than 2 points added to the board. It's a disruption of the entire defensive blueprint. Most pro shooters live within a predictable zone. There's an unspoken perimeter, usually a step or two beyond the arc, where the real threat is expected to fade. Defenses are trained around that limit. Closeouts are calculated from it. Help defenders shade the floor, assuming the danger starts and ends within that space. Entire schemes are designed with that boundary in mind. Clark shattered that line. She didn't just stretch it, she dragged it several feet farther back and forced defenders into uncomfortable territory. Suddenly, the safe spots aren't safe anymore. The scouting report has to start near half court. Her shooting range isn't just impressive, it's outrageous. We're talking logo shots, 28 feet, 29, 30. And the wild part, they don't feel like heaves, they feel routine.
Clark from the logo! Nailed it! She gets it out of that left hand, and it's money.
She shoots from that distance with the same calm precision most players reserve for mid-range jumpers. These aren't bailout attempts as the shot clock expires. They're controlled, on-beat pull-ups, taken because she fully expects the ball to drop. Her motion is compact, the release, lightning fast. The trajectory climbs high, the spin is clean, and before the defender can even contest properly, the net is already snapping. Now pay attention to what unfolds the moment Caitlin Clark steps across half court. The primary defender can't wait at the arc, can't sag at the top of the key. They have to meet her immediately, sometimes the second she crosses midcourt. Give her a sliver of daylight out there and she'll fire from a spot most teams don't even account for in their scouting report. That pressure point shifts everything. The defense creeps up, help defenders inch forward. The weak side starts to overthink rotations. And just like that, the Indiana Fever are playing 4-on-3 in the half court before the offense has even fully developed. One player, one shooting threat, and suddenly the numbers don't add up for the defense anymore. So back to the question, were you locked in? Time to reveal it. The answer is C and E. Did you call it? Let me know. There's a stretch from a matchup against the Connecticut Sun that says it all. Connecticut had been leaning on her all game, fighting through screens, bumping her on switches. Playing that seasoned physical style meant to rattle a young star. Clark came off a screen near the top of the arc with a defender glued to her side. She gathered the pass, took a single dribble left to create separation, stepped back, and launched from several feet beyond the 3-point line. No hesitation, no doubt, just confidence from a distance most players wouldn't even attempt.
Transition. Clark, pull up 3. You bet!
The defender was in her face. The shot clock was ticking under 5. The crowd was deafening, yet the ball seemed to have a homing device, landing dead center in the hoop. And while 20,000 fans erupted, Caitlin Clark was already jogging back on defense, her face calm, the same expression she'd wear after making a routine layup in an empty gym. That's what rattles opponents more than her range: the poise. 1. The unwavering certainty. Clark doesn't shoot hoping it goes in. She shoots knowing it will, but the three-pointer is only the opening act. The real brilliance comes once the defense overcompensates. That's when her vision takes over. If her shooting is a weapon, her passing is a masterpiece. Precise, inventive, and almost impossible to anticipate. In her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Clark didn't just lead the league in assists, she redefined what it means to orchestrate an offense. Against the Dallas Wings, she shattered the WNBA single-game assist record with 19 assists, turning a professional game into a clinic on creativity and control.
19 assists. She broke the WNBA single-game record. 19th assist. Here's how it sounded in case you don't remember.
Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. Surpassing the 18 assist mark set by Courtney Vandersloot, she made even a loss feel like a showcase of brilliance. As defenders swarmed her three-point threat, she still sliced through the gaps they insisted didn't exist. When defenses overcommit, hedging, trapping, daring her to shoot from 30 feet, that's when her true genius emerges. In split seconds, as help defenders leave their assignments, Clark doesn't settle for the safe pass. She reads the play before it fully forms, threading the ball through impossibly tight spaces. Bounce passes through traffic, behind-the-back flicks to cutters, and full-court lasers to teammates streaking down the floor. Every pass transforms defense into instant offense. And this isn't a one-off spectacle. Clark didn't just lead the WNBA in assists per game, she rewrote the record books. She shattered both the franchise and rookie assist records, surpassing milestones that had stood untouched for decades. When every assist, every vision-based decision redefines what elite playmaking looks like.
Clark now has 3,528 points in her career. She has officially broken Kelsey Plum's record.
The takeaway is clear. At just 22, with only one season in the books, Caitlin Clark is already achieving what many legends never do. Hall of Famers and veteran analysts alike have openly marveled at her court vision, comparing her instincts to those of players with years of experience, a level of awareness most rookies can only dream of. Her teammates sense it instantly. The moment Clark spots a cutter or reads a backdoor slip, everyone around her reacts differently. Faster, sharper, more precise, because they know the ball will hit its target at exactly the right instant. That's the mark of a transcendent passer. She doesn't just locate the open player, she elevates the entire offense, making it operate on a higher frequency. And that's why defenses have to adapt when facing the Fever. It's not only her scoring that demands attention, it's the way her passes dictate defensive positioning, forcing opponents to rethink their assignments. From the very first game, the WNBA tried to test Caitlin Clark, not with clever schemes, but with sheer physicality. She entered the league as the most hyped rookie in women's basketball history, and from day one, she made it clear she was ready for the challenge.
Triple-double for a rookie. Caitlin Clark has it. More history for the Fever rookie.
That level of spotlight doesn't come with a warm-up period. It comes with a target on your back. Veteran players who had clawed their way through a league that barely got airtime weren't about to roll out the red carpet for a 22-year-old whose college highlights had more views than entire WNBA seasons. They tested her. Physically, mentally, every single night. Hard fouls came early, body checks off the ball. Other forearms in the lane, the kind of brutal veteran play meant to send a message. This is our league. You haven't earned anything yet. There were games where Clark absorbed hits that would have shaken players twice her age. Nights when defenders crowded her just to remind her they weren't intimidated by the hype. That college basketball and the professional game are completely different beasts. But here's what the veterans didn't anticipate. She didn't flinch, she didn't back down, she didn't retreat to the perimeter or settle for safer options. Every blow was met with resolve. Every challenge made her play harder, smarter, cleaner, not out of anger, but out of unshakable focus.
Steps out. Defender.
Not emotional in a way that clouds her decisions, just sharper, more precise, more lethal, like the contact was acid, and she was a machine that runs smoother when it hits. There's a layer of basketball IQ here that's easy to miss if you're only watching the highlights. Clark doesn't simply take hits, she adapts to them instantly. A defender bodying her off the ball, she shifts her angle and turns it into a screen she wasn't supposed to get. A guard pressuring her on the perimeter, one decisive dribble to the right, a crossover, and she's already past the overextended defender for a layup or a perfect kick out to a shooter. Every collision becomes a weapon, every shove, a setup, every defensive overplay, an advantage for Indiana. It's not just raw toughness, it's intelligence fused with toughness, wrapped in an unshakable composure. And the composure, oh, the composure. There's a sequence against Atlanta that should be required study for every aspiring player in America.
Tonight, the Atlanta Dream set the record for the biggest crowd to watch a WNBA game.
The Dream was on a run, the arena was shaking, the defense was suffocating, Indiana looked rattled. Clark pushed the ball up the court, scanned the chaos, signaled for space, took 2 smooth dribbles to her right, and let loose a step-back 3 so effortless, so perfectly timed it cut through the roar of 12,000 fans and silenced the building mid-scream. She didn't pump her fist, didn't yell, she just turned and slid back on defense, as methodical and calm as someone taking out the trash. That's what sets Caitlin Clark apart from the long line of college stars who enter the WNBA amid hype, only to fade into solid but unremarkable pro careers. She doesn't just have the talent, she has the guts. She wants the ball when the game is tight. She wants the shot when the clock is running out. She wants the moment when it feels heaviest. And she delivers. Not every single time, no one does. But often enough, with enough conviction that her teammates trust her and her opponents fear her. That mix of desire and execution, it's rare. You can't coach it, you either have it or you don't. Clark has it, but individual brilliance only matters if it elevates everyone around you. That's where her story goes from impressive to historic. The Fever transformed. The Indiana Fever before Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever after Caitlin Clark are almost unrecognizable as the same franchise. Before her arrival, Indiana was a struggling team. Attendance was low, national TV appearances were scarce. The roster had talent. Aaliyah Boston was already emerging as a star, but nothing matched the spark Clark would bring.
Congratulations, it was an all-star caliber performance. I know you saw you were 4th in the voting.
Kelsey Mitchell was a proven scorer, but the team lacked the cohesion that turns individual talent into a true contender. Some nights they were competitive, other nights nearly invisible. The kind of team that showed up on the schedule but didn't move the needle. Clark changed that instantly, not gradually, not over a slow build. From the moment she was drafted, everything shifted. Ticket sales skyrocketed. Games that once drew 4,000 fans were suddenly selling out at 17,000. Road arenas that had never seen a full house for a WNBA game were packed, all because people wanted to watch her play. Television ratings surged. Social media engagement went through the roof. But Caitlin Clark didn't just join the Indiana Fever. She made the Indiana Fever matter again, in a way they hadn't in over a decade. But the cultural buzz, as massive as it was, isn't the real story. The real story happened on the court. Clark didn't just bring attention, now she brought transformation. The Fever's offense, once stagnant and predictable, suddenly had rhythm and danger. Her ability to shoot from anywhere on the floor stretched defenses to their limits, opening up opportunities her teammates had never seen before. Aaliyah Boston started receiving easier touches in the post because defenders couldn't dare leave Clark open on the perimeter. Kelsey Mitchell started thriving in spaces she hadn't had before too. Clark wasn't just changing numbers, she was changing the game for everyone around her.
Mitchell, here's a step back in the mid-range.
Clark's presence on the floor changed everything. Her gravity pulled defenders away from passing lanes that were once clogged, and suddenly the entire offensive ecosystem shifted. Fast breaks became a weapon. Indiana shot to the top of the league in transition points, with Clark as the engine driving it all. A rebound or an intercepted outlet pass wasn't just a possession, it was an instant push down the court. Before her second dribble, she was already scanning the floor. Those long, pinpoint passes that travel 60 feet and land perfectly in stride. They became a Fever trademark. Melissa Smith streaking the wing, Mitchell filling the lane, Boston trailing behind, and Clark orchestrating it all like a point guard who sees the entire court in slow motion while everyone else moves at full speed. Coaches talk about transcendent players, the ones who make the game easier for everyone else. That's Clark, not because she does it all herself, but because her mere presence forces defenses to adjust, opens lanes, and creates time and space for her teammates. Basketball is a game of advantages passes, and Caitlin Clark manufactures them out of thin air. A slight head fake that freezes a defender, a crossover that lures help defense one step too far, a pass fake that opens a driving lane for a teammate who didn't even see it coming. Every move flows into the next. Every action has consequences Clark already anticipated. Her teammates feel it. You see it in their movement. Cutters attack harder. Screens are set with conviction. Shooters catch the ball already squared to the basket, knowing that if Clark has the ball and they're open, the pass is coming. Not maybe, not sometimes, every time. That trust, that reliability is what transforms a collection of talented players into a true team. And Clark built that in her rookie season. But the bigger question looms. What happens when the stakes rise? When opponents adjust, when scouting reports are stacked, and every team has a plan designed to stop number 22. That's the part that terrifies defenses the most. Here's the real shocker. Clark is still improving. At 22, her shooting, passing, basketball IQ, and composure under pressure are already elite, and she hasn't even entered her physical prime. Her body is still adapting to the speed and strength of the professional game. Her understanding of defensive schemes grows deeper with each matchup. Her chemistry with teammates strengthens in real time, week after week. But she's getting stronger, smarter, and more comfortable, and the ceiling she can reach, nobody knows how high it goes.
Is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from three.
Think about that for a second. The player who's already hitting shots from the logo, already leading the league in assists, already drawing double teams that open up teammates for wide open looks. That version of Caitlin Clark is the weakest she'll ever be in the WNBA. The floor she's standing on right now, that's someone else's ceiling, and she hasn't even started climbing. The league will adjust. It always does. Teams will design schemes to limit her three-point opportunities. Longer, stronger defenders will shadow her. Traps will come earlier, harder, more aggressively, and Clark will adapt. That's what transcendent players do. But they don't just conquer the defense in front of them, they outpace the defenses that haven't even been invented yet. They evolve faster than game plans, adding counters to counters, wrinkles to wrinkles, until scouting reports are meaningless. The only real hope for opponents is that she has an off night. She's already shown how she handles pressure. Early in the season, some teams forced turnovers with aggressive full-court traps. Clark responded by sharpening her ball handling, changing speeds, and turning that defensive pressure into fast break opportunities in the other direction. When defenses sagged to take away her drives, she punished them with deeper and deeper pull-up threes. When defenders stuck tight on her perimeter game, she drove past them, finishing through contact at the rim or threading perfect passes to open cutters. Why, on every adjustment the league makes, Clark counters, and she does it in real time. Not over a season, but within the course of a single game. Comparisons to Steph Curry are inevitable, and not entirely misplaced. Both fundamentally altered how defenses are forced to operate. Both made the opposition rethink the rules of the game. And Caitlin Clark, she's just getting started.
Clark just answered that a little bit, weaving through not one, not two, four defenders protecting the ball.
Both changed the perception of the three-point shot, stretching it to ranges most players wouldn't dare attempt. Both built offenses where their mere presence created open opportunities worth 15 points a night for their teammates. But Clark has an edge Curry didn't have at 22. She combines the vision, passing, and court awareness of a true point guard with the scoring instincts of an elite shooting guard. If she continues developing along this trajectory, man, there's nothing to suggest she won't. She could become the most complete offensive player in the history of women's basketball. This isn't hype, it's projection backed by clear evidence. And that evidence grows with every game. Moments like this, when it feels like the entire game bends around one player, are rare. And when they happen, the question isn't just how many points were scored or how many highlights were created. The real question is how far it can go. How far will Caitlin Clark redefine what basketball can be? And what will the league and the world look like when she does? Pay attention. The story is far from over.